There's so much wrong information online about ATSs. And you know what? Typically it's shared by people who have never used one before. Well, I have 15 years of experience using a variety of ATSs. So today I'm tackling the big question so many job seekers have. How do I write an ATS-friendly resume? My name is Sarah Camilla. I'm a certified career coach and certified resume writer with 15 years of recruiting experience. In this video, I'm going to do three things. One, define the ATS and how recruiters use it. Two, share some do's and don'ts about your resume to make it ATS compliant. And three, I'm going to discuss how AI is now integrated into the ATS. So my first tip is make sure whatever information you're gathering about ATSs, make sure it's from somebody who has used it before, like a current recruiter or a former recruiter like me. First things first, what is an ATS and how do recruiters use it? ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. It's a software that helps companies filter and rank candidates and also streamline their hiring processes. So that way, even if you don't get the job that you've applied for, you're in that company's database forever. If they cancel the job and then they repost it or they post a similar job, the recruiters can go into their database and search for candidates typically by keywords and experience, and you can always be found that way. And many recruiters do this. Many recruiters go into their own database and search for candidates because it makes their job easier. Why? Because you've applied to their company, so you've already taken that step out. They don't have to sell you anymore in their organization. You've already shown your interest in their organization by applying, so they don't have to sell you on that. All right, two, that is the ATS. So now let's discuss how to create an ATS-friendly or ATS-compliant resume to help you get the job that you applied for or so recruiters can find you in the future. The reason why this section is so important is because there are a lot of lazy and quirky recruiters out there. So what I mean by that is when you apply for a job and you upload your resume into their database, not many recruiters download the resume that you've uploaded. Instead, they only look at what's being parsed over from your resume and creating that profile for you. The reason they do that is because they don't want to take the 4 or 5 extra clicks that it takes to download your resume. So if not everything's being parsed over, you're misrepresented in their database and your profile is misrepresenting you. They're not seeing the full picture. I've seen this so many times where only one job is there that's parsed over. The rest of it didn't get parsed because the computer or the ATS was not able to read your resume and parse it over accurately. Now, there are hundreds of ATSs out there and the capabilities range. I always compare it to like an iPhone, right? You have some capabilities that are in the iPhone 1, 2, or 3, and then you have other ATSs with capabilities on whatever version of iPhone we're at today, 20. So the capabilities range. There's so much variation in the application, which is why you're seeing that when you apply online. Okay, enough of that. Let's dive into the do's and don'ts for your resume. Starting with the file type. So when you upload, I often get asked, should I use a Word doc? Should I use a PDF or what? So oftentimes when you apply for a job and you get to that part where you're uploading your resume, they're going to put in parentheses what that ATS is compatible with. Typically it's a docx or a PDF. Whatever that is, if a PDF is offered, use a PDF. If not, default to a docx or a Word doc. Also for the fonts, stick to simple, easy to read fonts and dark as well. If you like some shading and color in your resume, that's fine, but make sure all of the font is in a dark color because there are some ATSs that aren't able to read white font. So some people like to put like their name in like shaded in a navy blue and then the font in white, but sometimes not all ATSs are able to read all of that, so I recommend using dark fonts. This next one is a big one. Avoid all images, text boxes, emojis, headers, footers, graphs, charts, all of that. None of those can be read by an ATS or by a computer. So some people like to put those little emojis like an envelope by their email or a picture of a telephone by the phone number, but they don't add any value and they can confuse the ATS, so skip them. As far as a headshot, know your country standards and norms. So in the US, we do not want a headshot on your resume because again, the ATS won't read that and it's going to create some technical issues when you upload it. However, there are countries in Europe that it's a standard to have your headshot on there. So just know what the norm is in your country. So please hear me out with this because this one is so important. Because I know a lot of times when people Google what are resume trends today or trends for 2025, you're going to see some cool looking, like contemporary looking resumes out there that have those two columns. One side is usually shaded in one color, the other one is not. I think it looks cool. So use that format if you're emailing your resume to somebody or bringing it to an on-site interview. All that is fine. But For the format that you use for uploading and applying online to jobs, it's critical to use a simple one-column format. Now, again, that is in the US, so it might be different in whatever country you live in, so do your research. All right, more formatting tips. For the date, make sure you use numbers. Don't write out April, use 04. And surprisingly, hyperlinks are okay. So go ahead and link your LinkedIn, link your portfolio if you have one, link any publications you've written or any articles where you've been cited. All of those are fine. It won't always carry over the link, but at least the address will be there. As far as how your resume is structured, make sure you have your most recent job first or your current job first, and then go to earlier roles. And when in doubt, use bullet points. I know some people like to use a paragraph and a summary of what you've did at every organization, but again, when your information is being parsed over into the system, it's being parsed into a smaller space, so it looks like a really long paragraph, and we all know how attention spans are today. A recruiter won't read all of that. So make sure you use bullet points to make it easier to read for the recruiter. Okay, those are the do's and don'ts for your resume to make sure that you're accurately represented into the company's database or ATS. Comment below with any other questions that you have on this. Okay, now let's talk about how AI is being integrated into ATSs today and how to make sure that your resume gets ranked as high as possible in those recruiter searches. So first of all, the resume title. Make sure that you're tailoring your resume title to the jobs that you apply for. The ATS is always looking for keywords, and a relevant title immediately boosts your chances of ranking high in those searches and high in the job that you apply for. So you may be number 200, the 200th applicant who applies to a certain job. But if you have the right keywords, your ranking can go higher. And obviously you want to be higher in the job folder. You have a better chance of a recruiter clicking on your profile and looking at your resume. Now, a skills section is a section on a resume that's been used for years, but now having those skills and those keywords are more important than ever, again, because of AI. So with the skills that you list on your resume, you don't have to be an expert in all of them. You have to just be able to speak to them. So make sure you're able to speak to every skill on there. On the flip side, don't just include keywords and skills because they're in the job description, unless you have the experience in them. You don't want to inaccurately include those. All right, avoid acronyms and abbreviations. So remember how I said before that a recruiter can go into their database and search for candidates that way? So they're going to be searching by keywords and phrases verbatim. So spell everything out at least once, avoid acronyms, make sure it's spelled out at least once in your resume. Abbreviations could be misread by the ATS or missed entirely, which could impact your ranking in the job folder or in the candidate search. And finally, include all credentials that you have. All of your degrees, all of your certifications, licenses, as well as professional awards and recognition. Those also can be read by AI being integrated into the ATS. So obviously AI is still new. There's still a lot of research being done and it's still going to be improved year after year. Your experience as a candidate is going to get better and better, but also AI is going to be used to read culture fit. It's going to be able to read other skills and be able to rank you according to different experiences that you've had as well. So it's still new. Every ATS has different capabilities with that as well. But again, do your research, stay current on how AI is being integrated because it's going to eventually help you with how you write your resume. I know writing an ATS-friendly resume can be extremely overwhelming, so comment below with any questions that you have. Or if you want some one-on-one guidance and support, set up a call with me. I'd be happy to go through your resume with you, give you any guidance and give you any tips to make sure that it is ATS compliant. Lastly, I do have my total interview program. I have a part of a program that just helps you write the resume, goes step by step, gives you templates you can use for your resume, and then you and I get a one-on-one call as well so I can review it with you, help you tailor it, and give you guidance along the way. That is it. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're aware of future videos. Comment below with any questions and any other topics you want me to hit on in the future. See you in the next one.